Hi, everyone. Courage is not something that comes easily. However, everybody has done something so far in their life that showed an act of courage. And so in today's video, I'm going to show you how to overcome your fears and act with as much courage as a superhero. So right now, some might say that I am being courageous simply because I have chosen to shoot this video without any makeup on, right? And for some people, that is a really difficult thing. No filters, no makeup, completely 100% me. And so a lot of people in the world have that fear of imperfection and not being perfect. And while makeup is great and, looking nice is wonderful, for many people, it's a huge fear. So I challenge you, if you are one of those people that does not like to show your true self in that sense, spend a day and do something, go out in public, whatever it might be, without any makeup on. But there's other acts of courage that we can think of that we have throughout our life, okay? From the time we're born, we show courage when we first stand up and walk those few steps, or when we first go to school and we are without our parents. These are courageous moments in our lives. And so to continue on with the idea of having that courage as we get older, at some point fear starts to block the courage of doing things that we have inside. I often like to compare courage with action and taking action in our lives, ultimately to move forward and better ourselves. A lot of time people think, well, courage is like taming a lion or doing something extreme or drastic. But for some people who maybe struggle with mental health issues, courage could simply be walking out your front door in the morning. Or for those people who have difficult time asking for help, courage can just be on that one day, taking that first step to say, hey, I need help, and asking for it. So courage does not need to be of superhero status, but what it does need is for you to ultimately change or alter something in your life. You need to decide that you want it bad enough, right? Courage is having the inner drive, that says to you, I want to do this. I am going to do this, even though maybe people think you can't, maybe someone's against you, maybe you don't believe inside that you can. And so let me give you an example, okay? For me, in 2013, I decided that I was going to move to the Dominican Republic and I was going to go there for a year to perfect my Spanish. Now, making that choice, I chose to leave my job as a teacher, which was a good job. I got good pay for the most part. I had full health insurance, had a retirement plan, all of that stuff. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go perfect my Spanish. And the idea was that I wanted to do this so that I could then come back to the United States and work in inner city schools. And I thought by learning Spanish, it would differentiate me from other candidates that maybe had more experience than I did. So I was living in an apartment, so I left that. I sold my car, I sold my furniture, I sold everything. And I went to spend a year in the Dominican Republic, or what I thought would be a year, right? Now that some might say that's courageous, right? And so, however, let's take that one step further. So throughout the year of being there, what happened was that I saw the market and that quality education and opportunities for young people who were in that area, those who were Dominican or those who were coming from other countries to live there and work, was not really good, and especially English education, which many parents wanted their children to learn English. So I found that little niche, right? And so after the first year of working at a school as the ESL teacher, I started working and doing private lessons out of my own home because I ultimately was getting paid more than I was by working in the school. And so deciding to stay even longer was a huge act of courage because it went against what my family wanted for me. It went against what most people would have done at that point in their life because I was 37 years old then. And it was something that that I didn't know how it was going to end up. I just knew inside of me, I had this feeling that I was on the right path, right? And so in taking that courage and not being afraid of the unknown, because I could have easily said, well, what if it doesn't work out? What if I, don't do well? What if? And a lot of times we live our life with that, what if this, that, or the other thing happens? Well, what if it doesn't happen, right? And we often say, for me anyways, people tend to say, what if it doesn't work? Well, what if it does work? What if it does happen? What if things do go the way you want them to? And we often focus on what if it doesn't, right? Oh my gosh, what will people say if it doesn't work? What will people think if it doesn't go the way I planned? What will happen if I fail? And we're ultimately putting in our minds that right from the beginning, like, it's not going to work. But then you have to look at the other side. What if it does work? What if it does happen the way I want it to? What if I am successful and I do succeed at this plan? And ultimately, after the first 3 years of being there, it did happen. I opened a school. Now, it wasn't huge, but it started with 7 children, right? 7 students, and these students were paying students, and I opened a school. Now, in a country that I had, I was an Italian language speaker, so it was easy enough for me to learn Spanish. And I opened a school and I learned the system. I had to apply for all of the permits and everything, but I did it. And at that point in time, for the first years, I didn't have a car. I was living by myself, and that took courage because ultimately, I didn't believe in the education system that I was working for prior to going there. I saw so many things that I did not like, and I wanted to change it. But it's hard to change it when you're inside the system. It's hard to go against the system. So I decided, well, I'll start creating my own system, my own school, and my own set of rules, so to speak, and do education the way I feel it should be done and what I feel is more beneficial for young people. And over the years, it has grown, right? And so a lot of times people say, well, it can't be done. Nothing can be done. It's not going to happen. People have tried and failed. Yes, but however, they also said that there'd never be a car And there also said there'd never be an airplane, right? People had doubts on that, or a rocket that would go to the moon. And so there has to be a first time for everything. And so courage is also standing up in the face of others who say you can't and still believe that you can and find a way to do it. And so I'm not saying that it's easy. It's not something that happens overnight. You need to really, really want to do something. And you need to get out of your comfort zone. That, for many people, in and of itself, takes a lot of courage, right? Because I had, nobody there I knew, no family, didn't have many friends, and I just knew what I could do and that I wanted to make a difference some way, somehow. And some of the other things that went along with that journey, I ended up creating a foundation. I did helped people build, wells and water and hurricane relief. And so when we think about courage, if I didn't do those acts, if I didn't find that courage within myself and I was afraid, I also wouldn't have been able to help all of the people that I was able to do. So sometimes our courage of acting and going out there and putting ourselves out there benefits other people and those around us because we don't allow fear to hold us back. We allow ourselves to take action, be brave, and ultimately do more things than a lot of us even think were ever possible to begin with. And so with that being said, I want to ask you today, what is it that you are afraid of or you think is holding you back? And where can you find that courage to take that first step, to take that action? Yesterday we were talking on an Instagram Live about women and single mothers, and sometimes how mothers do not feel like they have the right to live the life that they want, because ultimately our society makes us think that we need to sacrifice for our children, or we need to feel guilty if we put ourselves before our children. But the thing is, in the end of the day, if you do well for yourself as a mother, you're ultimately doing a good service for your child. You're showing them not to play small. You're showing them that you, as a mom, are courageous. And you're showing them that ultimately, even if you do choose to put yourself first and not sacrifice and not feel guilty, you can still be the best mom that your children need, right? So I want you to think about that. Whether you're a mom, whether you're a father, whether you are a student in school, what is it that's holding you back? And go for it. Just go for it. Have the courage to say, you know what? I'm at least going to try. I'm at least going to say, I can. This is possible. I'm possible. And when you do that, you will have this whole different feeling inside of you, and the world will seem like an endless canvas of possibilities. Until next time.